Let us wholeheartedly salute Parabrahma Paramatma, salute Paramatma in all Devatas Rupa, salute Paramatma only in the form of Guru Tattva, Guru Parampara, our own Swaguru. Let us salute the Bhagavan himself in the form of Shruti Smriti Purana Itihasa, the best and only guide for all of us. Again, it is Bhagavan only in the form of all our upadhis, all our abilities, all the outer opportunities, amenities, whatever you call. In every of these form, who is there is Bhagavan only. Salutations to him and salutations, respects to all wonderful adhyatmika sadhakas, shrotas, jignasus, bhaktas, shishyas of Guru Parampara and the mumukshus. Good that we have chosen this path of spiritual evolution through the study of Shastra, lest we will not know even that we are in the delusory world, endless world, eternally binding and misery giving world. As we say in groping in darkness, we would have been continuously like we were earlier, and any others would have been trying to get the peace, happiness only in the Mithya Jagat. Not that we have totally withdrawn from it now, but at least a ray of understanding is dawning in us regarding what is true and real. And if one has to be happy, the happiness has to be true. True happiness cannot come from the untrue, it has to come from the true only. So, slowly, these even logics, which thousand times we have heard but not occurred to us, click to us, they start clicking to us as we proceed further and further. Then a day will come when vehemently, very clearly, convincingly we get convinced that it's only the spirituality in which everything is there that understanding comes. That time only the real Adhyatmika sadhana, which has no obstructions, self created, will be able to do. Right now, more than the outer world, we ourselves are the obstructions to our own sadhana because of the, what to say, non convincing about the self, and still our mind is pulled towards the world out of whatever the reasons, out of the insecurities, fears, or the habits, or some pleasures we are getting here, there, the fear of unknown. कुछ भी कहें, पूरा ये छोड़कर वहाँ जाने में हम अभी तैयार नहीं हुए, इसलिए खुद हम ही अपने संसार बंधन के we become the reason. When we get totally through the study further convinced, then we don't become obstruction to ourselves. There may be other obstacles en route come. Obstacles don't come because they want to come. है ना? Never ever imagine like that. Land never slides in the Himalayan range to block the path of people. That blocking the path of people is only a side effect. The land had to slide, that's it. So to world moves in its own rhythm as planned by the Ishvara for the sake of total. And it appears to be obstacle to us when we are on the path. And it's temporary. One can negotiate through them, can move further. All these are the obstacles caused by the outer world or totality. After we are with zero obstacles from our side, because we are fully convinced of Paramatma about the Jagat, we have 100% understanding that it is illusory. Therefore, it can give me nothing, so I want nothing out of it. That type of Vairagya, having gained, है ना? If we are consistent in our Guru Bhakti, Shastra, Dhyana, spiritual pursuit, sometimes with pain, many times without pain, Bhagwan sees to it, proves to us that we are independent. We don't need anything of this world. One by one thing slowly gets reduced, which were important in our life. Many things we don't even know. Like for example, So much attachment fond of children. And young when the children are the parents, every parent thinks children will grow, we get them married, they stay, wonderful life can be lived, all that. But if they are non-spiritual seekers, then when the children get married, go abroad, they get frustrated. Whole time only one worry that they should come here or I must go there. But those are blessed by the divine and God, they accept it. They don't suffer so much. What is the meaning of that? In one way, not in all ways. Ki the Bhagavan is giving you an opportunity to do sadhana. For that, he is not making you so much attached. Wherever you are, very good. Be there. If one is able to say so to the children who are far away, that means the detachment has come inside, which is very essential. Or else 24 hours thinking about them, putting them online, worried. मोर मेच्योर्ड पेरेंट्स तो कहेंगे बेटा आप जरूरत है तो फोन कर, मैं तो करता हूँ, नहीं तो आई एम बिजी इन माय साधना, यू जस्ट एंजॉय, कम व्हेनेवर इज पॉसिबल टू यू एंड व्हेन इट इज कन्वीनियंट टू मी आई विल आल्सो कम. Equally in the mind, detachment. So they have achieved. It is God's grace. Some people just take up some decisions. No, I am not going to eat this much, or only this quantity I'll eat, or these are the variety of things I don't eat. No, this is Vairagya. It is God's grace because you are on the path of the spirituality. Once one reduces the quantity, variety of the food, the distraction happening because of the attachment with the bhojanam, it is reduced, isn't it? Some people decide, no, I don't even touch my what do you call cell phone unless it is required, or even remote to watch TV. So how come they are deciding? Whereas others are so much of slaves to that. Guru Bhagavat Kripa ho raha hai. These are all the elimination of the obstruction. Positive side, being regular to class, the desire to open up the book in between the classes, going through it. If this is happening, Kripa ho raha hai. Then if somebody is more keen in understanding every step and the sequence of the steps of the Shastra and Sadhana, he is to becoming Panditji only. He is a genius. Higher than all of that is if one is consciously practicing every sadhana. Very consciously practicing every sadhana, he can see his results also. अब यहाँ तक कोई पहुँच गया तो प्रभु की कृपा भरपूर उनके ऊपर है, because he deserves. And all of that is our consistency of this following path. If you are reluctant, if you are disturbed in our mind, if you have two minds, if you are irregular, if you are insincere, Bhagavan feels that sentiment, emotion, that yaar ye regular nahi ek arth kya hua, so they don't need it completely. So I will also not give them the vairagya that side, intensity of sadhana this side. तो मैं क्यों unnecessary गुस्ताखी करूं? तो भगवान keeps away. Guru also just teaches formally because you are coming to listen. He also will not invest his tapashakti for those disciples. That is why it is me, it is my life. I have to grow. The growth is possible only in spirituality. I will do my best. Then I seek the help of God, Guru. In these things, the one who is very pakka, very clear, unambiguous, he will himself do sadhana. He will get the cooperation, coordination from the family, the world. He will also get the grace blessings of God, Guru, consistently, continuously. The travel will be with lesser and lesser obstructions, obstacles, or hiccups. Maybe all that way through the study of Shastra and keenly observing how the Lord is blessing us to turn towards the divinity, encashing all of that, let us, for our own sake, become more and more sincere sadhakas. Only the sadhaka of Paramatma. A stage should come to us, whether mind proposes or the world invites for anything. We say that first I have to reach to myself, उसके बाद देखेंगे. Like a samsari says, first let me go through all my life's drama, फिर उसके बाद देखेंगे स्वामी जी, आप जिंदा हो, मैं जिंदा हूँ, तो तब देखेंगे spirituality. Isn't it? That was also a thought of the mind, sankalpa, at a very immature stage of zero spirituality, 100% samsara. When we come to the 100% spirituality, zero samsara, at that time, फॉर्मेलिटी के लिए हम कहेंगे लोगों से, पहले मैं परमात्मा को पाऊँ, उसके बाद ज़रूर आपके पास आऊँगा। दैट ज़रूर आऊँगा इज़ फॉर्मेलिटी, बिकॉज़ नोबडी गोज़ इंटू द वर्ल्डलीनेस once one discovers the self, because there is nothing such sort of thing other than Brahman. By the way, so all these ideas we carry in our mind, which are the cushioning things for our sadhana, which are the prompting things, which are the energizers, which are all the supplements for our regular work. So, thus, may we not give up our study of Shastra, may we not give up our contemplation, may we not give up our Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga sadhanas, which alone are helpful for our purification, and will not give up our Dhyana Adi sadhana. And to all of that, the boosting effect, the fueling effect is done by God Guru's grace. Therefore, for that, the regular prarthana. By doing all this, genuinity, sincerity, and total responsibility, but zero doubt, zero ego. है ना, अहंकार राहित्य, संशय राहित्य, श्रद्धा युक्त, responsibility yukta, doing of all these things. When we establish in, so we can be little better assured and comfortable. Keep on doing, things get opened up. So this is how anybody who has done has grown spiritually. Let us also try. Om, Om, Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharusibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Om निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. ॐ सुकृतेऽधिकृते बहुधा भवतो भविता समदर्शनलालसता अतिदीनमिमं परिपालय मां भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि. ॐ परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. श्री ऐतरेय उपनिषदः आचार्येभ्यो नमः. श्री वेदव्यासमहर्षये नमः. श्री ऐतरेय महर्षये नमः. श्री आद्यशङ्करमहर्षये नमः. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्तब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव अनुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः साधनानां शास्त्राणां गुरुशिष्यभक्तभगवत्परम्परायाः योगानां वेदान्तानां भक्त्यादिसाधनानां समस्तप्रक्रियाणां च पुनरुत्थानजागरणविश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिकप्रगति विश्वशान्तिकल्याणैकता पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थं ये ये भक्ताः साधकाः शिष्याः आचार्याः गुरवः संस्थाः श्रेयोभिलाषिणः अस्माकं सह अस्मिन् धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये कङ्कणबद्धाः निष्ठिताः तेषां सर्वेषां सदा पूर्णायुरारोग्यैश्वर्यक्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यादि समस्तशक्तिसम्पदा सानुकूल्यता साधनानां प्राप्तिद्वारा अस्मिन् धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थं श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेय उपनिषदः आद्यशंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं पारायणं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। ॐ मनस्तावदमशान्त्यै यस्य पादनखच्छटा शरदिन्दुनिभाभाति तं वन्दे नीलचिन्मणिम्। ओमथ श्रीऋग्वेदान्तर्गत ऐतरेयारण्यकान्तर्गत ऐतरेय उपनिषद शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य म आणेस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासेः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवत्ववतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। In the Parayanam, as we concluded yesterday, we just do the Parayanam of the what do you say? First khand, just like that. Om Atma va idameka eva agra asit nanyat kinchana mishad sa ikshad lokan nusruja ide sa iman lokan asrujata ambho marichir maram apah अदः अम्भः परेण दिवं द्यौः प्रतिष्ठा अंतरिक्षं मरीचयः पृथ्वी मरः या अधस्तादता आपः स ईक्षते मेनु लोकाः लोकपालान्नुसृजा इति सः अद्भ्यः एव पुरुषं समुद्धृत्य अमूर्छयतो तमभ्यतपत तस्याभितप्तस्य मुखं निरभिद्यत यथा अंडं मुखाद् वाग् वाचः अग्निः नासिके निरभिद्येतां नासिकाभ्यां प्राणः प्राणाद् वायुः अक्षिणी निरभिद्येताम् अक्षिभ्यां चक्षुः चक्षुषः आदित्यः कर्णौ निरभिद्येतां कर्णाभ्यां श्रोत्रं श्रोत्रात् दिशः त्वं निरभिद्यत त्वचो लोमानि लोमभ्यः ओषधिवनस्पतयः हृदयं निरभिद्यत हृदयात् मनः मनसः चन्द्रमाः नाभिर्निरभिद्यत नाभ्या अपानः अपानान् मृत्युः शिश्नं निरभिद्यत शिश्नाद् रेतः रेतस आपः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Slowly, steadily, these Upanishads have to be studied, digested. We have to tune with them. For that, the amount of patience required is tremendous. In Kali Yuga, very rarely somebody will have. If we have, that means from so many lives we are trying. So many of the gurus, rishis are looking at us and blessing us. Okay. So yesterday we have done our sufficient work study of the Sambandha Bhashya, which has so many very essential, deep thing to be understood and accepted and convinced. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. This para being essence of whatever discussed so far, worthy of browsing through once more. Last para before the first mantra of the second adhyaya. What is said here is ki yavat, as long as I am, means this you and I, the seekers, the individuals, evam, in this way, yathoktam, as said in the Upanishads, which have told us about the presence of Parabrahma other than this entire world scene, which have explained to us the nature of that Parabrahman, which have told us the preparations to reach out that Parabrahman. Finally, the Upanishads which have given us the sadhanas such as Neti Neti Ityadi. So, at the understanding level and also at the practice level, exactly what is said by the Upanishad, that is called as Yathoktam, as said. Then, Imam Atmanam, this pure self, Yavat, as long as Naveti. If he is Veti, he is liberated. If he is Naveti, if he has that way transcended all illusory things and not realized his own self, what will happen to him? Tavat, till that time, as we are all going through, that is explained here. Ayam means again same that individual, very important. Bahya anitya drushti lakshanam upadhim. Bahya anitya drushti lakshanam upadhim. Atmanam upadhim atmatvena upetya. This is where we have to really underline. This is the thing which is to be deeply understood, grasped. Again, I am repeating. Bahya, external, anitya drushti lakshanam, upadhim. All our upadhis are there, whether it is intellect as upadhi, the mana is an upadhi, pancha jnanendriyas upadhi, pancha karmendriyas are upadhi, deha is upadhi. All these upadhis, what they do? Bahya, anitya drushti wale hai. They only look at the outer world and their drushti is not nitya, it is anitya, continuously changing. Drushti means drushti, the knowledge, the desire for the world, working for the world, all of that. एक बात बताया तो उसके अनुषंग में वट एवर अदर आर देयर इवन नॉट सेड वी शुड बी एबल टू ग्रास्प इट. So in this way, as said in the Upanishads, if you and I are not recognizing our own self and get liberated, in that case that individual identifies with the upadhis whose attention is always outward and whose abilities, abilities are not nitya, they are continuously changing. So, bahya anitya drushti lakshana upadhim atmatvena upetya, having taken them as a self, means identifying with them. So, asakti hi anabhishvanga, as said in Gita. Attachment as well as identification with those upadhis will happen. Sakti hi and abhishvanga. What happens after that? Upetya avidyaya. His identity with the Upadhis is because of avidya only. Avidya of the self, as told in the Upanishads. Avidyaya. Then next step kya hua? Once you identify the Upadhis, obviously Upadhi dharmana atmanaha manyamanaha. See, every of these sentences, how crucial for our clear, unambiguous understanding of how Upanishads are guiding us regarding our own essential self, the Atman, and the not self, the Anatman. This study is called as deep Atmanatma Vichara. This is again like writings on the waters. है ना, पानी इस पे कुछ लिखोगे तो ये कितना टाइम लगता है, तुरंत चला. सेम वे it just goes away from our registration. That is why hundreds of times we have to repeat them till it becomes registered in our mind. Then only what is all Shastras talking about Atmanatma Viveka, Anatma Tyaga, Atma Tadatmya, and getting moksha. These things never click to us unless we pause at these levels again and again. As I'm saying every day, lucky we are that the evening what we are chanting the Raghu Gita is making us repeatedly do this only. So first step is not knowing the self as self because not studied Upanishads, etc. Second is therefore the not self, the upadhis whose drushti is extroverted and who are anitya, with them identified. Third, when the identification with the upadhis is done naturally, the dharmas, the lakshanas of the upadhis, they are taken as my own. Dharmas, lakshanas as well as functionings. Therefore, upadhis are born, I am born. Upadhis are modifiable, modifying, I am modifying. Upadhis die, I die. So too, upadhis are perfect working, I am working. Upadhis are not working, I am not working. Second thing. Third, Upadhis are doing this or that, and I become the doer of them. सो इन दिस वे उपाधियों के धर्म, उपाधियों के लक्षणों से हम तादात्म्य हो जाते हैं. Upadhis are limited, I feel I am limited. Conditioned, I feel I am conditioned. Their abilities, debilities, increase, reduce, I feel I am doing it. Most importantly, the functionings of the upadhis are taken as our functionings. So, who is seeing the world? The eyes are seeing. Through the eye, the mind is seeing. Through the mind, the buddhi is seeing. At the most, the pseudo ego is claiming as seer. What is the position of the pure self there? The pure self is not seeing, he is not a karta of the seeing karma. He is only witness. He is such a witness. Whether the upadhis are there or not, are functioning or not, while functioning, they are seeing the object or not, he is not concerned. That is our essential nature. That we have not recognized through the Upanishad Neti Netina. इसलिए उपाधि तादात्म्य, then upadhi dharma and lakshana are taken by us. So the one who takes the dharma and lakshana upadhi as his own is a fully, completely involved samsari. 100% samsari. So उपाधि धर्मान आत्मनः मन्यमानः, धर्मों को, उनके लक्षणों को अपना मानना. So it is born, I am born. It is growing, I am growing. It is modifying, I am not. It is dying, I am dying. It is functioning, I am functioning. It is fully well functioning, I am fully well. It is losing its ability to function, it looks like it is mine. Any इंद्रिय यूसेक देखो, आंख देख रहा है, मैं देख रहा हूँ. आंख अच्छा नहीं देख रहा है, मैं नहीं देख पा रहा हूँ. Don't we go to the whole doctors of the world for setting right all these upadhis? That means what? I am. That is the identity full there, 100%. Then avidyaya upadhi dharman atmanah manyamanah. Now the next line is very complete. इस यहाँ तक समझ में आ गया? Not studied Upanishads, not discovered the self. Second, identify the upadhis. Third, taking the upadhi dharmas as his own. Fourth one is interesting. After once he takes upadhi dharmas as his own, what is happening to him? Brahmadi stamba paryanteshu. Right from Brahmadeva up to a small blade of grass. Stamba is blade of grass, stamba is a small insect. Is one cell organism, anything. Stamba paryanteshu. In between क्या है? देव तिरियंग नरस्थानेशु. ब्रह्मदेव से लेकर छोटे ब्लेड ग्रास ऑफ घर, बीच में जो देवताओं के शरीर आर देर, तिरियक द एनिमल योनिस आर देर, then nara the human are there in them. Underline the next point. Punaha punaha avartamanaha. Again and again, moving from one unit to the other, one loka to the other, one sharira to the other, he goes on. Samsarat. And how long this samsara goes on? What causes the samsara goes on? Same thing which started in the beginning. That is avidya kama karma vashat. That is why this avidya kama karma are called as hrudaya granthi. So avidya, self is not known. So he identifies the upadhis. Then upadhi dharmas are his own dharma. Upadhis are limited. They want to become infinite. For that sake, depending on vasanas, they have kamana for one thing or the other. To fulfill that kamana, he does karma. As a karma phala, he will be sent to different lokas, into different shariras. This is called as samsarati. About you and I also. Only it is talked about. अपने बारे में बोल रहे. तो हाउ स्पष्ट देखो ये सब्जेक्ट. How important it is to be studied as early as possible, as clearly as possible. But your and my mind little better, little purified. Therefore, at least we have patience to listen. If not the thorough understanding and conviction, at least एक तरह का patience है सुनने को. The people in the world endowed with so many powerful vasanas, so much many of desires, so much of extrovertedness. अब उन बंदों को आप कहाँ ये सब बोल सकते हैं? 100% 100% patience. 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 100 Unfortunately, we were also that past way. Fortunately, we are little better, at least to give our ear and mind to the audition or listening of these things. We are little better placed. We ourselves 30 20 years back, if we were told all that, हम भी कहते हैं हमको सुनने को टाइम हो पेशेंस नहीं है. I know, like anywhere, physical level maybe. If the people are not ready to listen to the doctors, the Ayurvedians, the dietitians, as to in today's world, to be healthy, what are the cares to be taken? कोई सुनने को राजी नहीं and licentiously eats anything at any time and without any exercise, anything he drinks and all, how will he not have multiple diseases and he will definitely die only soon? He is so much engrossed in all the things, वो सुनने को तैयार नहीं. You understand the level of moha at the health level. Many other things, finance level, relations level, for everything there is a guidance. How to maintain them and how to eke out maximum peace and happiness through them, not misery. But कोई सुनने को राजी नहीं. Therefore, people are suffering in their own ignorance. Some of them who realize it, then they approach those respective experts. है ना? जब अकल खुलता है, अकल का ताला बंद एट द एज ऑफ 50-55, देन ही गोज़ टू डॉक्टर. अब बताओ डॉक्टर, ये खाओ मत, वो करो ये, देन द बीपी, शुगर एटसेट्रा इन कंट्रोल. So do other things. He goes to a counselor. He says, it is your insistence and ego that you became enemy to your daughter-in-law and all of them. Children, now you just be in limits. Take a room somewhere. Stay there. Don't depend. Don't impose on them anything you want. Then you will see. Your mind will be peaceful. They will be peaceful. They will come and talk to you one day. अब तो भाग रहे थे. You do it, it will happen. For everything, there is a wisdom, the way to live. If you don't gain that wisdom and live wisely, in that otherwise way of living, there is only suffering. Finally, the moola karana of all suffering is spiritual avidya. Therefore, spiritual vidya gained, you are beyond all the upadhi, relativity. Therefore, there is no problem at all. The main reason for which we don't become spiritual is the world substantially seen. Because of that seeing appears to be so real कि उसको छोड़ने को डर होता है. Second side, the self is so subtle, it cannot be objectified. Therefore, there is always doubt regarding ऐसा कोई है कि नहीं. ये सब छोड़कर वहाँ गया, if that is not available or such thing is not there, then neither this nor that. We have missed both of them. So these are the fears for a long time will daunt or will haunt the serious sincere seekers also. And you and I also, if you look into our hearts, how much we are convinced about the infinite pure Brahman beyond the manifest world of gross, subtle, and causal. How much we have convinced. It's all questionable. We have to see. We have to debate. We not debate. We have to introspect and see. Depending on that only our sincerity, genuineness of sadhana. एक्चुअली बात ये ना, जिसने माना कि सबके पीछे एक परमात्मा है और वही अधिष्ठान है एंड ऑन हिम ओनली द होल वर्ल्ड इज सुपर इम्पोज्ड, if that really happens, if it clicks, he will not even go for any of the objective world anymore. His only focus is on recognizing the inner self. Such are the great sadhakas who leave everything very easily, go to the forest, into the ashramas. They are nothing but doing that. Vedanta Vakyeshu Sadharavantaha Vikshanna Matrena Chadushtimantaha Ashokavantaha Karunaikavantaha Hopinavantaha Kalu Bhagyavantaha. You and I have to head towards that only. We are in that journey. Our everyday study of Shastras, intensifying the acceptance of presence of Paramatma, intensifying our desire to experience Him. Simultaneously, the whole world is existing because we give value to it. When we devalue it, it ceases to. And the acme of all this knowledge was yesterday when we studied in Valmiki Ramayana, when in Adhyatma Ramayana, when Valmiki told that all this world of bhavas are is nothing but having woven in the tantu called as sankalpa. and then Vicheda of the Tantu, the Sankalpa happens, Kogataha, where it has gone, the whole world, nobody can know. So how powerful was that sentence? How much that is related to this discussion, you see. Still reluctant, still we have hesitant, still we have not convinced, which is not wrong, which is not sin. It's an evolution. Suddenly करो बोल तो नहीं होता हो. धीरे धीरे इसलिए regularity, sincerity with faith. If these three are there in our being, attending the classes, listening and studying, बाकी सारा time में सब हो जाता है. So too in the world everywhere, in your regular, sincere, with full faith, you will evolve politically, you will evolve in economy, you will evolve in your relations with others. हर जगह पे यही है, regular, sincere, with full faith, you do it, you will grow. The way it has to be done, उसको follow करना है. Now, so the thought is what latest? In this way, because of avidya and kama and karma, he having done the karma to get that result, deva tiryang manushyadi yoni, between that Brahma Deva to up to this, he goes on coming and going punah punah avartate. Then samsarati, that's called samsara. Again and again. So now we can become more single pointed in our understanding. Now in this life I am there, taking the role some as an acharya, doing my Upanishad pravachan. But have I discovered the self? No. Then am I taking the upadhis as myself? If answer is yes, then all upadhi dharmas are my dharma. Then I identify with the upadhi and do variety of things other than the Paramatma pursuit. Every one of them will decide my subsequent janma. No, at highest level na, of all these understandings, two things will happen. One, that person will know what janma he is going to get in the next, because he knows exactly what he is doing now. इससे भी बढ़कर बात क्या है कि he can live his present life in such a manner he can command his next janma. Command, isn't it? Like today, yesterday, UPSC results have come. Of the mains of interview hoga. Now, those who clear in that interview in the top level, are they not given their choice? जो लोअर लेवल के होते हैं उनको चॉइस नहीं होता, जो दिया है ले लो. Isn't it? Like you have your son-in-law at home, 10 items you put there, it is his choice, you can eat anything. But to a servant there is no choice, whatever you give he will take, you cannot have a choice. In the same way, the yogis have their own choice of choosing even the bodies, even the parents in the place of birth, etc. हाईएस्ट लेवल में, मतलब और थोड़ा फाइनल टचेस है मोक्ष के लिए. Such people, yes, to this place, these parents who are highly evolved, I'll be born. Choosing, deciding. Apart from these, the other two are the ones who choose their own expression. One is the Lord as an avatar. Second is the masters who are already in the highest level, when they have to do the seva in the world, the rishis, munis. The masters who are called descending masters. What I said are the ascending ones. Those ones who have the highest level, they command their life so perfectly, basing on that they can even command the next life. For all of others, depending on our papa, punya and sadhana, we are duly only sent, not unduly or undeservingly or illegally, what you call unjustifiably. No, proper, legal, justifiable, the law of the Prakriti, law of the Lord. According to that only, papa kiya ho jivan, punya kiya ye wala, sadhana hai to. You and I are at the third level. Some sadhanas we were going on doing in our life earlier, along with some papa punya. Therefore, in this life, the papa phala we suffered, punya phala we be happy, loved by the people. So that sadhana phala, now we are in the stage of studying our shastras. Become conscious of this and consciously develop the sadhaka identity and do the due things whatever possible. They decide our better life next one. And always better life is internal, including external also, mainly internal, where The internal atmosphere is conducive, outer also is very conducive, better साधना we can do. इस जन्म में जो वादरेशंस ऑब्लिगेशंस है वो नहीं रहेंगे, इस जन्म में जो कमजोरियां हैं वो कम होंगी. If we choose so, like if I am here, I should think for myself. When I get next life, even this vasana for the shastra should not be there if it is obstructing my deep meditation and knowing the self. So, to any other value importance given to anything which is illusory may not be, should not be there. So with this sankalpa, when I leave my body, the Lord will send me there. If any other sankalpa I do, I must become a great speaker in the world and all, Bhagavan will make, but speaker is not necessarily realized saint. है ना, ये बड़ा वक्ता का अर्थ नहीं है जो ज्ञानी है और मुक्त है. Speak anybody, you can learn 10 years the speaking art, you can become a speaker. है कि नहीं? It's only that's why I am Atma Parvachanena Labhya. So I have to be careful what sankalpa I do, what wish I make for my pure. That depends again on my conviction of the goal, conviction of the truth reality. Very important topic this is. That's why we are pausing, slowly studying. So now, okay, यहाँ तक. Next one. Saha evam samsaran. In this way, samsar में आते हुए भटकते हुए, every time what it does, upakta deha indriya sanghatam tyajati. At the time of the death, obviously has to come that deha indriya sanghata, he gives it up. Having given up, tyaktva anyam upadatte, having given up this, living this body, anya dehendriya sanghata upadatte. Otherwise, why even indriyas also? Because what is our next journey? In that, what indriyas have to be there in what way? Isn't it? डिपेंडिंग ऑन और पाप पुण्य, तो वहां वो मिलेंगे, इसलिए ये सब को छोड़ना. शुद्धेन्द्रिय संघातम त्यक्त्वा अन्यदुपादत्ते. Like in your next my life, I am supposed to become a crocodile, mano, because my vasanas are like that. No, these all इंद्रिय संघात of this will not work there. तो वहां का अलग ही इंद्रिय चाहिए, पानी में रह सकना, ये सब अलग अलग. So in this way, Jiva Bhava continues, the Dehendriya Sangata, newer and newer given to depending on what we have done. But remember, anything given is only for one unique purpose, single purpose. All are an opportunities only for our evolution. इस बात को कभी नहीं छोड़ना. Even Bhagwan sends me to become an animal in some forest, that also is for my evolution. How? By going through that, I exhaust all my karma phala. In this knowledge is not available in any other Pashu Yoni. Only as a human, when we are here, through study of Shastra, all this understanding we have to have, and to the best of our ability, possibility, we have to do only those things which evolve us in sadhana. Beautiful. सह एवं संसरन् उपात देहेन्द्रिय संघातम त्यजति त्यक्त्वा अन्यम उपादत्ते. Then पुनः पुनः, again and again, एवमेव, in this way only, नदी स्रोतोवत्, like the flow of the river which never ends, चलता ही रहता है, चलता रहता है. नदी स्रोतोवत् जन्म मरण प्रबंध अविच्छेदेन, है ना, is unbroken chain of birth and death, birth and death, birth and death, avichedena vartamanaha, goes on living like that. Okay, while going through as a sample, okay, he goes on like that, generally told, depending on the karma done, or up to the from the Brahmadeva loka to the Stamba Paryanta, any deha he will get as he deserves. While all that is happening as a sample, taking the human being as an example, how he goes through the avasthas. An example is given. Very good, very important. So, kabihi avasthabihi vartate. In which avasthas he goes through. Mote taur par, not in detail, but main one. Kabihi avasthabihi vartate iti. Etamartham darshayanti. That Shruti Mata wants to just to tell as a sample. If you don't realize the self, if you are writing with Upadhi, accordingly through Avidya Kama Karma, you are living life. In what way you go through the avasthas, a sample is given. For what? Iti Shruti Vairagya Hetoho. Sri Bhagavan Shankara's kindness to tell us why, when this first portion has conveyed to us the whole truth, what is the need of talking about the second one? Now, Simana Vidarya Etaya Dwara, all of that is said, na? Then it is already said that Tatamama Pashyatu, the everywhere permeating Brahman he has known. That's how the second one concluded. तो हो गया उसमें बात ब्रह्म ज्ञान. So why the Shruti Mata has taken up the second chapter with to the Siddhanta is told, but while doing the sadhana, we have to evolve. And what is an obstruction is again our attachments. And what is the way out is Vairagya. So these things are told for us to develop Vairagya and then pursue single pointedly spiritual sadhana. Vairagya hetoho Shruti darshayanti aha. To create Vairagya in us, Shruti Mata is telling in the coming chapter as to how the non-realized or bound jiva with his avidya kama karma, because of his karmas, in what avasthas he goes through. Those avasthas are not depicted as the really suffering worst avasthas. Not depicted means the type of varnana is not done, but only the mentioning is done. With that mentioning, we should have the maturity to understand that what is indicated is to understand that it's a very worst of the things. This person was subject to chemical laboratory for 10 minutes. No, the sentence doesn't show anything, but you must understand in that chemical laboratory what a variety of orders will be there. आंखों में पानी, कान में वो, दिल, lungs in problem, inhaling, exhaling. How many things he goes through if he is in that chemical lab? बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. Positively also, he just was for 1 hour in the flower garden. No, it doesn't convey in that few words. But we should be wise enough to know if flower garden means what. First of all, for the eyes, so many variety of colors. For the nose, such a fragrance. For the mind, a type of contentment. And each flower so soft, and whole atmosphere in the garden because of the sound of the bees and all is so enchanting. All of them is our wisdom to understand what it means. जैसे कहते हैं ना, काला पानी की सजा. No, Kala Pani ki Saja is not a black water. That is the place where one is put in deep hole of that jail, where somebody once a day comes, gives some food. That's it. Other than that, no human beings you can meet. पूरा हाथ पैर कारा जंजीर से बांध के रखते हैं. Totally there is no freedom. These are all things subject to be understood. Like, he is put in ICU. It's not explained everything. He'll be on the ventilator on that bed, totally monitoring. That saline is put, the other side it is put, and then monitor भी लगाते वहाँ, and all the time निगरानी, every 1 hour the tests are done. ये सब नहीं बोलते हैं. In the same way, he goes through 3 avasthas is mentioned. We have to use our wisdom to understand that in these 3 avasthas, there is nothing but the worst way of life. Thus develop the vairagya. है ना. पहली बार ही हम सुन रहे हैं ऐसी चीज़ों को, या दूसरा तीसरा 10 बार सुनना होता है, देन सोचना होता है. देन फ्रॉम दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई शुड आई गो थ्रू ऑल दिस व्हेन देयर इज अ चांस फॉर मी थ्रू द स्टडी ऑफ उपनिषद्स एंड मेडिटेशन गेट टू माय ओन एसेंशियल सेल्फ एंड गेट लिबरेटेड. ऐसी बात. क्लियर. सो सः एवं संसरन् उपात्त देहेन्द्रिय संघातं त्यजति त्यक्त्वा अन्यमुपादत्ते पुनः पुनः एवमेव नदी स्रोतोवत् जनन मरण प्रबंध अविच्छेदेन वर्तमानः काभिः अवस्थाभिः वर्तते. इति एतम अर्थम दर्शयन्ति आह श्रुति वैराग्य हेतु। इस अर्थ को दर्शन कराने के लिए श्रुति माता बता रही है, वो भी उसका पर्पस क्या है, वैराग्य हेतु। एंड दैट इज हाउ द सेकंड अध्याय's purpose is to not only know the details by which we know how great our rishis are in their vision, but more than that, in and through that understanding, we should develop vairagya for the life of non-spirituality which we are living now, and take to the spirituality completely. And the spiritualities are the Mahavakya Sarvanam, Vicharana, by practically doing Neti Neti, realize ourselves. चलो पढ़ो ये पहला वाला मंत्र। ओम अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः प्रथमो मंत्रः। ओम पुरुषे हवा अयम् आदितः गर्भः भवति यद् एतत् रेतः तद् एतत् सर्वेभ्यः अंगेभ्यः तेजः सम्भूतम् आत्मनि एव आत्मानं बिभर्ति तद् यदा स्त्रियां सिंचति अथ एनत् जनयति तद् अस्य प्रथमं जन्म। अगेन पुरुषे हवा अयमादितो गर्भो भवति यदेतद्रेतः तदेतत् सर्वेभ्यः अंगेभ्यः तेजः सम्भूतम् आत्मनीव आत्मानं बिभर्ति तद् यदा स्त्रियां सिञ्चति अत एनत् जनयति तदस्य प्रथमं जन्म। So janma marana rahitya moksha sthiti is explained through the Upanishad Adhyanam Neti Neti, realizing self. If that is not there, he will go through janma marana that is being said so far in the last half an hour in that Bhashya. Now, how the janma happens is taken up here. Here it is said, every of such jivas non-realized is essential self. ये तीन जन्मों को पाते हैं. Mainly the human is taken because we are expected that we are human beings, supposed to be. So this human being, non-realized jiva, goes through three janmas. Three janma. Goes through only these three only, continuously. And we'll see the shloka artha today. Bhashyam also, if time permits. So, okay. Now what is shloka artha? Dekho. First कहते हैं पुरुषे हवा. In the Purusha only, indeed, Hava, indeed, I am, you and I, the Jiva, Aditaha, Purushe Garbha Bhavati. We are in the Garbha of the Purusha only. That is the father. Okay. How in the father is there in the Garbha? Not in the mother's Garbha. We are in the father's Garbha first. How? Yadetat Retaha. In the form of the Retaha, we are in the womb of the father first. Purusha. Tadetat. And what is this Retas? Is Sarvebhya Angebhya Teja Sambhutam. The tejas of all the angas of the father hidden there is called as, that would be the Retaha. Then Atmanieva, in his own self, Bibharti, that father carries with the idea that Atmanam. These are all with Bhashya, little more it will become clear. So Atmaneva Atmanam Bibharti. So in the form of the Retaha in the father, that too as the Tejaha of all the Angas hidden in them, is this the Jiva is there. And him, the father Bibharti, holds in his own self. That is why it is in his Garbha, it is said. Tad yada, then when that Retaha, yada, when Striyam Sinchati, in the women he puts that seed or Retaha, Ata enat janayati. That is how the process of the Janma starts. Now, from the father entered into the womb of the mother, no more with the father now. That is why, and that is why it is called as coming out of the father, entering into the mother is called Prathamam Janma. Tadasya Prathamam Janma. Now, as we said in the introduction, So, in the form of the Retaha and then put in the womb of the mother, all of that is so, we have studied luckily in our 10 day, 12 days back or 8 days back in our Shiva Aparadha Kshamapana Stotram. So, we need not repeat it. Adau कर्म प्रसंगात कलयति कलुषम मातृकुक्षौ स्थितं माम विन्मूत्रा मेद्य मध्ये क्वथयति नितराम जाठरौ जात वेदाः यद्यद्वै तत्र दुःखं व्यथयति नितराम शक्यते केन वक्तुं क्षन्तव्यो मे पराधः. Remember? So that is what we have to think about. So we have gone through such a worst of the journey. And if you don't realize in this very body, the self, again will be subjected to the same thing. And now we are here, therefore, that dukkha we don't know. But when we are there, we will know how much it is painful. दैट इज वाई आदव कर्म प्रसंगात में शंकर भगवान सच ग्रेट ना, तो उनको ये सब पता है कि अब मैं कंफर्टेबल हूं, लेकिन जब वो योनि में था या वुम्ब में, हाउ मच आई सफर्ड, द शंकरा नोस, ही इज डिटैच्ड फ्रॉम एवरीथिंग, देयरफॉर हिज अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज full about everything. You and have forgotten it, having identified with the body and the comforts here. So thinking about it, we have to get the vairagya. Imagine we are in that womb in the mother's with that body and we are conscious. And as we discussed, described at that time, what amount of naraka is there around. उसके लिए अब इसी शरीर में ऐसी जगह पे रहे मानो, कैसा लगेगा? इमेजिन करो. अरे भाई 2 मिनट फैन नंबर कम है तो ही हम इतने परेशान होते है ना. 2 मिनट द कोल्ड इज मोर, वी सफर little bit. If you are told 1 hour stay inside the room, there 9 months you are bound there, my dears. Mhm. How much of the outer disturbances disturb, and we are helpless. No, what example can be given today is the terrorists when they capture people, the Hamas, how torturing they do to the people whom they capture. Terrible it is. And you have seen in all your old and new movies, ये सारे जो ना ये पाकिस्तानी ने बहुत इतने राक्षस होते हैं ना, whom they catch and consider them as enemies, how worse they treat. So too some are there, even the Western countries. We have gone through as Indians under the hands of the Mughals and all of that, how they treated the Hindus and all. Very horrible. है ना? Everything. मुसल खाने में रखने से लेकर बात, खाना नहीं देना, for days together and getting all the labor done, making done. Oh, torturing physically every way. It's a sample. Like that will be our life inside the womb. Let us say the mother is walking half a kilometer. No, while he was she's walking, her hands, legs, stomach, everything moves. Inside I am there. I am also moving. I have no choice. It need not be rhythmatic. And the body is so tender there. It comes under all pressures. She will sit, she will sleep, she will roll. Everything that she's doing is affecting us. The kind mother knows it's therefore she is a little careful. Yet, how much she is careful she is, many things she can't avoid. And we are going through that. अब चैन से जी नहीं सकते हम अब, इसलिए भगवान उनको भुलवाते हैं. It is His grace that He makes us forget, so that this life we live little comfortably. But for a sadhaka, he should remember to get the vairagya. So this thing in this first loka, where the first janma is mentioned, where we from the father enter into the mother, and from the mother when we come out, it is second janma. and having done all nonsense, when we die and we enter somewhere, whichever it is, that is called a third janma. You can take that third janma again as the first. But here, a set of his journey is said as first, second, third. पहला जन्म ये है. तो भाष्यकार एक्सप्लेन्स इट सो नाइसली, है ना, कि अयमेव अविद्या काम कर्म अभिमानवान यज्ञादि कर्म कृत्वा अस्माद् लोकात् धूमादिक्रमेण चंद्रम संप्राप्य क्षीण कर्म वृष्ट्यादिक्रमेण इमं लोकं प्राप्य अन्नभूतः पुरुषाग्नौ हुतः तस्मिन् पुरुषे एव अयं संसारी रसादिक्रमेण आदितः प्रथमतः रेतो रूपेण गर्भः भवति इति एतद् आह यदेतत् पुरुषे रेतः तेन रूपेण इति. Upanishad started with yadetat retah purusha tena रूपेण. For this the lot of introduction has to be given. उससे पहले क्या क्या हुआ, तो भाष्यकार alone can tell us that. That is the purpose of Bhashya. Whatever Upanishad leaves the filling of the gaps or blanks, the Bhashyakara fills them and completes the subject. Then tacha etadretah annam अन्नमयस्य पिण्डस्य सर्वेभ्यः अंगेभ्यः अवयेभ्यः रसादिलक्षणेभ्यः तेजः साररूपं शरीरस्य सम्भूतं परिनिष्पन्नं तत्पुरुषस्य आत्मभूतत्वात् आत्मा तम आत्मानं रेतोरूपेण गर्भीभूतम् आत्मनिव स्वशरीरेव आत्मानं बिभर्ति धारयति. Every word of that mantra Shankara Bhagavan explains for clear understanding. That's the beauty of it. So tomorrow we'll straight away chant this mantra. Then word by word meaning we see, and that word, how Bhashyakara explained, we study that. Thank you. Om 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 Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Paramarashibhyo Parabrahmane Shruti Tatsat Brahmarpanam Astu. Tomorrow we'll continue. The Lord bless us in the pakka understanding of all that, and all these understandings intensify our spiritual sadhana, desire for it. Thank you.